Hello, and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. Today, we'll go behind the scenes with the New Jersey Film and Television Commission and learn all about the dazzling productions happening right here in the Garden State. We'll also learn how a Roseland woman channeled her anguish over losing a loved one into creating a grief support group for others to feel comfort. But first, recently, the New Jersey Tourism Association awarded Monmouth County Tourism with its President's Award. Joining us now to talk about this very exciting honor and all of the wonderful things happening around the county is Monmouth County Commissioner Tom Arnone. Tom, thank you so much for joining us.
Lisa, thank you for having me. This is really an honor, and it's great hearing all those accolades, but quite frankly, the accolades have to go to my staff because I'm out here doing this interview now, but the ones behind the scenes did all the hard work and the creativity to it. But it's an honor to be part of it.
So tell us all about this Monmouth County website rebrand that was a catalyst for this award.
So we decided to take another route. Now, for years, we were promoting ourselves with our website, our county website, but we decided to go a little bit more in detail and a little bit more professional side of bringing an outside professional along with our staff to do some of the video work. That would, and more importantly, as you know, when people are looking to go to a destination, they don't want to spend a ton of time. They want to get there, look, go on their computer, make it user friendly, and be able to find where they want to go and what they think is going to be the best for them that day or that weekend or that week that they're there visiting Monmouth County. And even for the people that live in Monmouth County, to let them know. I mean, we're a very large county, 53 municipalities, and so not everybody knows everything that's going on there in the course of the county. So this will make it a little easier for people to get the information and the great businesses and activities that we have here in Monmouth County.
How involved were you with the development of that website? Because I know building a website is not as easy as one would think.
So I would tell you the technical part of building the website, absolutely very little. Okay, but what went on the website, a lot. And that's what was important because we're a very, and I repeating myself when I say this, we're a very diverse community, county here. And what's important is that we have to showcase all our businesses. And we have a lot of special activities here. So that's what we had to try to implement to make it fair so that the local businesses and all those businesses, the chambers of commerce and all those were part of this planning and preparing so that we made sure we didn't miss anything.
Are they just simply listed on your website? Talk about how you give them a spotlight.
So what we did is, the good thing about us is we have a great partnership with our businesses, probably because of during the COVID period of the way we assisted them. So we have a great database there of all of our local businesses. And then we have a fabulous relationship with our chambers of commerce. So our chambers of commerce were able to give us in detail pretty much all the information so that we make sure we weren't missing anything on our side. And then that's the way we created it. And we looked at some of the areas that are really, really, I guess you could say we started, from the beaches and the bed and breakfast places, arts and entertainment, the beverage tourism, historic buildings that we have, which is very important. And everybody thinks tourism, obviously myself included, when you gravitate right towards the beaches and those areas. But that's not always the case. We have parks, we have museums, we have the western part of the county where we have a lot of open space land, farming, horseback riding, all those things. So there's a special little niche for everybody. And then of course, the accommodation area. So when people come here, they're going to need a place to stay overnight or for the week. So we were able to incorporate that as part of it too, the accommodation side. So I think it's a blend of everything that makes it easy for a person to know whatever they are looking to gravitate to the weekend they're here in Monmouth County. They will be able to have a user-friendly website to look at, go to the area that shows the most interest to them, and then pick out a good destination and accommodation for them.
So we touched on COVID, but I want to know how Monmouth County tourism was impacted during COVID-19.
So ironically, which is probably something that you probably haven't heard much, because of COVID, I beach revenue, and I'll use the beach revenue and single them out. Our beach revenue probably was one of the highest in our history because people wanted to be outside and there was no place to go. Okay, there was no. A lot of people were on vacation, going to other destinations or that. So and because the schools were closed and all that area, the beach season started very very early, and beach badges were off the charts. The lines were down the boardwalks. They had to have multiple different openings to purchase badges. Season badges were sold out, and so it was a challenge because we had a lot of people there during the period of COVID there. Once we were able to open up the businesses somewhat with 50% occupancy and the somewhat social distancing and all that, they started to see an uptick there. But they still were suffering, and that's why we came along the county with our CARES Act money to assist them. But tourism itself, which right there being on the shore, probably had a banner year of sales there. Now, did the business climate have that same thing? Probably not. But as things lightened up, I think they did, because all those people that still did not leave the area, okay, started to frequent their businesses.
Yeah, well, we're turning the corner, I feel. So 2022 should be back to normal. And I think everything will be bustling, the beaches, but also the restaurants and all of the industry in Monmouth County.
I'll leave it at this. If you plan on coming to Monmouth County, you plan on going out to dinner somewhere along the shore here on a Saturday night, please make reservations a week in advance.
Oh,
you cannot
totally.
get in one.
Totally. Tom, where can people find this award-winning website?
Sure. Tourism.visitmonmouth.com.
Tom, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with us today. See you at the Monmouth County Beach.
You got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa.
New Jersey has historically been a backdrop in some of the most iconic films and television shows. Joining us now to talk about the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission is its executive director, Steven Gorelick. Steven, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to join you.
So as someone who works in entertainment and video production, I am always still so curious when I see big projects filming across the Garden State. Can you tell us about some of the movies and shows that have been filming here?
Yeah, 2021 was an incredible year, and especially when you consider that during 2020, the whole industry had shut down because of the pandemic. But the industry came roaring back, and we had a huge array of really, really interesting movies that we're shooting here. One of them was James Gray, his latest movie, Armageddon Time, with an all-star cast. Anthony Hopkins is in it, and Anne Hathaway, one of two movies she made here in the last few months. That was filmed up in North Jersey, and that looks to be very, very interesting. It's about a child's experiences growing up in Queens. Two of our New Jersey-bred filmmakers have returned this past year to shoot movies. Zach Braff did a movie called A Good Person with Florence Pugh, his girlfriend, and Morgan Freeman. And Kevin Smith came back to the Jersey Shore, to Middletown, to film Clerks 3, because everyone demanded it. And we're pleased to have him back as well. So he's done a lot of movies here, and of course nobody's more New Jersey than Kevin Smith. We had a thriller called Something's Wrong with Rose with Sosie Bacon, Paramount Pictures feature that was shot in the fall, and a movie that really sounds like a lot of fun, The Greatest Beer Run Ever, with Russell Crowe and Zac Efron and Bill Murray, which is the fact-based story about during the Vietnam War, this gentleman couldn't get into the service, but he was wanting to do something for his friends who were all fighting in Vietnam. So he decided to pack up cases of beer and bring them down to him to show they're getting the love from back home. So that was shot here, and of course TV. We've had an abundance of TV. The Equalizer season 1 was just about entirely shot in New Jersey. It's a hit series now with Queen Latifah. and Wu-Tang, An American Saga, the Hulu series, which is really critically acclaimed. Season 2 was shot here last spring, and season 3 is going to be shot here this spring, the third and final season. And lots of other things. Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, and Law and Order Organized Crime come here, and FBI Most Wanted film here periodically. But it was really an incredible year.
Is it safe to maybe nickname New Jersey Hollywood East at this point? Because you just gave what a rundown of productions happening here.
I just gave you some of them. We have tons more. I would like to refer. I actually, because the industry started in New Jersey, I like to refer to Hollywood as New Jersey West.
Okay.
So that's the way I look at it. But we certainly have had the stars coming out, and we have a huge array of movies, coming up this year. Insidious 5 is going to be filming here. Patrick Wilson's making his directorial debut and starring in it. And Christopher Nolan's coming back to direct another movie, Oppenheimer, about the famed physicist. He's going to be in Princeton at the Institute for Advanced Study. We're very excited about that. And Luc Besson is returning, the French director. He's doing a movie called Dogman. It goes on and on and on. I could, spend like an hour just rattling titles off.
Unbelievable. So how do you and the commission attract these world-renowned producers, directors, actors to the Garden State?
Well, New Jersey's always been the apple of Hollywood's eye, shall we say, in many respects, because we offer so much to the industry. We have an array of locations that's almost unmatched in terms of you could travel short distances and get to the mountains and the shore and the suburbs and the cities and such. Almost anything that you would like to film, any kind of background, you can find here. So that's always been a huge plus. The fact that we're located in the New York and Philadelphia metropolitan areas is certainly an advantage. But even more so, the fact that we have a talent pool that is the second largest in the country next to California, because we share that New York, New Jersey talent pool. So you don't have to import people if you want to film here. They're here already, and they're ready to assist you with your productions. Of course, the thing that leveled the playing field above and beyond anything is the tax credit that we offer. We needed a financial incentive to level the playing field with Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, and other states across the country and other countries across the world. And when that was instituted in 2018. The floodgates open. So, the legislature and the Murphy administration did a tremendous job working to revitalize this industry, and it's exploded. I mean, we not only the movies that are being shot here, but all these studios that are suddenly being built.
That was going to be my next question. So obviously we have so many iconic backdrops for all of these people to utilize, but you're also building big time studio space in New Jersey. Tell us about them.
Large sound stages, 20,000, 25,000, 27,000 square feet, cavernous, beautifully soundproof spaces. We have Cinelise Caven Point in Jersey City, which is 3 stages, 19, 24, and 27,000 square feet, I believe. It's a tremendous studio. Right now, they're filming an FX miniseries there, and they'll be there till, I believe, June. They're taking up all 3 stages. Then in Kearney, which has become something of a studio hub, we have 2 studios, 2 purpose-built studios that exist there right now. Palisade stages in Kearney, and also just opening this month, 10 Basin Studios, which is associated with Eastern Effects in New York. That just opened. Big studios, soundproof grids, the whole 9 yards. These aren't just warehouse conversions. These are actual full-time studios, and a lot of productions being done in studios, particularly in the last year or so with COVID restricting movement and such. It was safer to do a lot of studio work when you could do it.
How are the communities that these studios are being built benefiting from having this influx of production industry?
Well, whether it's in a studio or whether it's a film shooting on location, when a production comes to town, it's like a small army that arrives, and they're utilizing the resources of the community in every possible way. For one thing, they're hiring people as to work on the crew as extras, and et cetera, et cetera. Thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs are being created every year thanks to filmmaking, and the revenue that's being spent, the revenue that the state accrues, the money that's being spent this year has exceeded $500 million, and we're heading towards $1 billion a year industry very rapidly. So when a film company comes to town, they're purchasing hardware and lumber and stationery supplies and everything in the community. They make use. They're renting cars and catering and all of those things. So all of those businesses, whether they're full-time catering to the New Jersey film industry or even part-time, they're making a tidy sum of money, and so it's been an absolute financial boon for the state.
You also host a production assistant training program multiple times a year. Can you tell us more about how interested individuals can get involved?
We just had it in Rutgers in New Brunswick, and prior to that, we had one in Old Bridge. We've had them in Newark and Atlantic City. We're planning to have another one in South Jersey later this year, and we will announce it on our social media when they're accepting applicants. It'll be announced on our social media and our website, so you can look out for that. It's free to those people who are accepted into the program. It's very valuable. It gets your foot in the door. You get intensive training, a weekend of intensive training, and then after that you're graded, and the top graduates will actually go right onto a film set. Immediately.
Steven, thank you so much for joining us here today. We look forward to seeing you at the movies.
My pleasure. Thank you.
The next chapter is a grief support group based in the Roseland Library. Its founder, Lauren Seiner, is the youth services coordinator at the library, and after facing a tragic loss, wanted to build a safe space for others to cope with their grief. Lauren, first of all, I want to thank you for joining me here today, and I'm so sorry about your loss. Would you mind sharing your story?
Sure, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to talk about the group and the good work that I feel like we're doing here. So my story is I was pregnant with my third child in 2015, and his name is Bennett. And at 35 weeks pregnant, they noticed something wrong on the ultrasound, and turns out, long story short, he had a cranial hemorrhage. So he ended up passing away. And, when you're 35 weeks along, you still have to go through, the delivery part of everything. And so it was a full blown experience of a loss. We had to go through everything that happens afterwards when somebody of normal age dies, or I shouldn't say normal age, but you know what I mean. And so I started going grief support groups for women and men that had similar losses. And I just found myself coming out of those groups sadder than I was when I went in. And I was just stuck in a rut. I couldn't really get anywhere. So I asked my director here at the library if we could maybe start a grief support group. I'd seen them in the area, and we do a lot of fun programming at the library. So I thought, let's try something different. So she said, sure, go for it. At first, we started it as just a child loss support group, and we didn't really get a good feedback from that one. Maybe a member here or there. And then somebody suggested that we make it bigger. So we opened it up to all grief, and it just kind of took off from there.
Lauren, I was sick to my stomach listening to you talk about your story, because death in any way, shape, or form is terrible, but it just hits different when you're talking about a baby. So I'm really, really sorry about that.
Thank you.
And I think it's so heroic of you to want to take your experience and turn it into a way to help others. I think that's really beautiful. So talk about what the meetings entail when you gather at the Roseland Public Library.
Sure. So what we do is we start kind of coming in and filtering in, and we have one gentleman who is wonderful that makes us coffee every time we're there, and sometimes there's some snacks there, little brownies or cookies. And we just kind of start talking, getting used to the environment for whatever's happening. And then once we start the official group, I will welcome any new members if we have them. If we have a new member, then I tell my story and how this grief support started. And then we go around the room, and you can share if you want to, you don't have to, whatever is comfortable for you. We really try to focus on being a safe place. So we've had members that have just come and sat in the back and then, slowly inch their way in, as the meeting progresses. And so we go around the room, and then I'll say, okay, does anybody have anything they want to discuss or talk about? And the majority of our group at this moment sadly, is widows and widowers. So it's a good place for them to be, because especially with COVID, it's very lonely for a lot of our members. So they get to come and they get to just kind of let it all out, and just get out whatever they need to talk about, and know that there's other people that can feel what they're feeling. It's very different to talk to somebody who hasn't been in the same situation, because, people always, they're nervous because they say, I don't know what to say to them. And anything you say basically is wrong. You just have to be there. And so when you're in the company of people who have lost like you, it's very easy to talk and just be very raw. And sometimes I know our last meeting, when we went around the room, everybody broke down and cried. And sometimes we have a great meeting, and it just turns out that within 15 minutes, we're talking about what's hot on Netflix, what's everybody watching. So it really goes anywhere.
How many times do you meet?
So we used to meet every other week on Wednesday evenings. And then because our group is mostly widows and widowers, some of them had requested that we meet during the day as well. So now we're alternating every other Wednesday at 6:30 and then every other Sunday at 12 p.m. And we just spend the afternoon or the evening together. We have on our Wednesday nights, we start with a meditation, a guided meditation by our wellness coordinator. And she comes in, we do a little breathing. We have a nice, just a way to relax and kind of open up those paths for your grief to kind of flow.
Do you ever take it out of the library? Maybe, I know we're still in COVID times, but maybe prior to COVID, do you ever do dinners or other experiences, excursions with the group?
We do. So we started a social event that we try to do once a month, whether sometimes we have a nice community center in the library, so we'll do like a movie and order in pizza or sandwiches or whatever, but we have gone out we just did a Valentine's Day breakfast on Valentine's morning. We all met at a diner. We're going to do a St. Patrick's Day dinner. We had a Halloween party, but we try to do something also, like something fun to do, somewhere to be, something to put on your calendar and to look forward to, being around people that get it.
I don't know if this question is appropriate, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
Has the group had any romances stem from it?
It's funny that you say that. So our group, as I have mentioned before, is a lot of widows and widowers. And we have some that are a few months out from their loss. And then we have others that are, 5 to 7 years out. And so sometimes after, I have a few people in particular that will come to me and they'll say, hey, can we try to organize like a speed dating or something like that for the people that are ready, that are in the older, I shouldn't say the older, that are in the more seasoned area of their grief. And so there are some women that are looking to find somebody to, do fun things with. The world isn't over, the world hasn't ended, and life is still going on. And that's the whole point of this. It's to, yes, we have a new life and we have a new normal that we have to get used to, but it doesn't have to be sad. And, there can't be judgment and there can't be criticism. And that's what our space I think helps encourage.
Well, and you truly know all of the stages of grief, including the other side of the rainbow, right? No pun intended, with your little beautiful rainbow baby. Yeah.
Yes.
So I am so happy that we did this interview today. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Where can people find out more about you?
Okay, so we're basically right now we're at the Roseland Public Library, which is if you wanted our email address, our website, roselandlibrary.org. Very easy to find. We're under the adult and the wellness section. We have a great wellness program here, and you just go in and browse around. You can see the times, but we're here. Our next meeting is next Wednesday, which I believe is the 26th. And then we'll follow up with Sunday, and then Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, and we just kind of go through. So my email is laurenroselandlibrary@gmail.com. If anybody has any questions, I get a lot of inquiries about, oh, I'm not sure if I can come, and I'm happy to answer every single one of them.
Lauren, you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.